chapter, third episode, and our introduction to just how actually great Isara is as a character, since she's kind of misrepresented in all of the other Valkyria Chronicle games as someone who's fairly weak. This shows exactly the kind of person she really was, and it was not weak.
Isara, Martha, please be okay.
Martha!
What's her problem? She pregnant or just fat?
Who cares? Not gonna make any difference when she's dead.
Stop this now!
See what she's wearing? Take a good look at that shawl. She's a Darkson.
And that explains it. I thought this place stunk. Now I know it does. So, we got ourselves a fat one and a stinky one. P.U. It's a regular pig farm in here.
I will thank you to watch your tongue in this house. You have to leave, now.
That's a big gun for such a little girl. Drop it.
Isara!
Huh? Hold it right there! Die! Darkson pig!
Isara, are you okay?
I'm okay thanks to you. But Martha, I think she's...
Martha!
This isn't good. She's gone into labor. Moving her would be dangerous.
Right. Well, we can't just leave her here. What are we gonna do? There are a lot of Imperials out there, Is. It's only a matter of time before they take over the Mill Plaza.
Welks, listen. The barn out back.
What about it?
Our fathers have left us something. Something that might get us out of this mess.
Yeah, left them something. Casually built or casually repaired and upgraded basically the equivalency of this place's World War I era tank to not only be equal to the current standard of military vehicles, but actually surpass it. And she was doing this out in her barn. If anyone ever says that Welkin was from I guess you'd call it commoner family in this game world, no, her family, or their family, was incredibly wealthy, because that's not something people can just go out and do. Well, unless you're in Russia, then they just build tanks there.
Dad's tank! Whoa, I can't believe it's still here.
And it's one of a kind. Here it is, the Edelweiss. Tamer built it especially for General Gunther.
Yeah, and it worked great, too. So it's just been parked here in the barn?
I wanted to make sure it would still operate, in case of emergencies. I enrolled in a maintenance class given by the military. I wanted to be able to do what my father could do.
Well, that's great. But that's only a class, Isara.
It really didn't need much, hardly any alterations at all. I just fitted it with a new turbine engine. It really improves on the power-to-weight ratio. The Edelweiss is field-worthy. Its firepower and mobility are more than a match for recent models.
Well, assuming it does work. What's next?
All right. Welks, you took the armored vehicle course, didn't you?
Yeah. Back in high school. Once.
We'll bring Martha here. She'll be safe inside the tank, and we can move to a better location. Just leave the driving to me, okay? All you have to do is give the orders.
Isara, we ready to roll?
Engaging engine. The Edelweiss is ready for deployment.
Alicia could still be out there dodging bullets, buying time for people to evacuate. Here's the plan. We're gonna pick up Alicia and get out of town. All right, Edelweiss, move out!
Yeah, also don't forget that this tank came with a full set of ammunition. And this was supposed to be civilian owned. Yeah. That's a thing.
Here's the brief for this operation. All right, let's begin. We've got to stop them here. If this gate falls, there's going to be even more casualties among the townspeople. The Town Watch will defend this gate so as many people as possible can get away. Got a second? Listen close and I'll explain.
Again, this is all stuff that was covered in the tutorial 2 episodes ago. Literally the beginning of the game. It explains how sandbags works. It even gives you a couple to use. But here we go again. Third part of the tutorial, re-explaining things in case you didn't get it the first time. I'm pretty sure grenades was explained in the last tutorial. First things first. Town Watchman, hero of the day. You have a gun. Go shoot that guy. Then go stand there. Alright,
Moving out!
Time for Alicia to do her job. I actually discovered this is kind of a, I don't know if you call it a glitch or a trick. This allows you to basically walk right behind these guys.
Now!
Not only does that drastically reduce their health, but kills a couple of the guys who are going to be trying to circle around a little later.
Enemy sighted!
Okay. Another red shirt here. Just like in Star Trek, kill the red shirts. Shock trooper who's going to make a rush, and they're kind of hard to kill with just rifles, unless you headshot them. Luckily, these guys are terrible at their jobs. And just like in Star Trek, the red shirts die. That is basically the last we'll have to worry about that guy. Yes, Ragnade. This is pretty much the first part of the tutorial where they actually explain that, I think. I don't remember it being in any of the other ones.
Moving out! Please hit!
Goodbye. Getting hung up on terrain is the next most important or common thing in this game. Alright, that was the last time we'll have to worry about that guy. Great hero strikes again. Saving the day. Yep. If you're wondering why he's sitting there, it's really no important reason at all. Alright. Now you can save CP between various things. If you do, it gives you a little bit more to work with on the next turn. Same goes for the enemy, though. About time. They've already killed all the Imperials except the tank.
Here we go!
The tank should be able to breach that wall. It may provide us with a shortcut, Welks.
All right, let's give it a shot. Hang in there, Alicia.
They also have the anti-infantry mortar. Now you're probably wondering why I'm firing this.
Rebellion tank!
Alicia, I'm sorry we're late.
Welkin, you have a tank?
We can talk later. Right now, we need to stop those soldiers.
Enemy tank sighted, Welks. Switching to anti-tank combat. Armor-piercing shells loaded.
All right, let's go take it down.
I need a gun. You're here because of this guy right here. Sublier the Wall. He is an ace. Also gets the red armor that, you know, kinda sucks. I was really hoping to hit him with the mortar, as that would drastically reduce his health, making it a lot easier, and potentially one-shot him, so I wouldn't have had to waste those on this guy. But hey, he killed an ace.
Entering combat!
Good job. Now, if I'd had those 2 CP, I could have basically one-shot this tank this turn. Seeing as how you have to shoot it there. Yes, ours is giant, theirs is tiny. And that's going to take us an extra turn. I could have managed to be a little better.
Minor damage sustained.
And then I wouldn't have had to waste it on that extra turn that I took.
Here we go!
Honestly, I didn't kill that shock trooper. He wouldn't have really done anything.
Now! Yes! We stopped it! Nice work, Ys.
Woohoo! Now you're my hero, Welkin.
The Imperials are running off for now. Looks like we bought some time at least.
Welks, it's a boy. Martha had a boy.
She gave birth in Dad's tank?
Yes, and without complications. They're both perfectly healthy.
That means that literally that tank's interior is going to be covered in stuff that really should not be mentioned. Not only that, but also, technically, Isara also was simultaneously driving the tank and taking care of Martha while they were in a combat situation. See what I mean about Isara not being a weak person?
Good. That's fantastic. Now let's stay sharp as we head out of town.
Curses, foiled by 1 turn. But hey, I got the gun. I really wanted that to be an A rank, but oh well. Sacrifices.
Two hours after the first shots were fired, Brule was under Imperial control. Though a mere skirmish by Empire standards, the raid on Brule would mark Welkin Gunther's first taste of battle and begin his rise to a Gallian hero.
Alicia.
I thought I would be ready for this. I knew war meant this might happen. It hurts. Seeing my town overrun like this, seeing all those people killed, it's just not right. How could all this happen? It isn't human, Welkin.
We look at those birds and see how wild and free they are. But they all have their own territories. If anything threatens their home, they'll risk their lives to defend it. People are animals too. We do what we have to, when we have to. Animals are in a constant struggle to stay alive, but I've also seen them help each other, almost like they were cooperating in order to survive.
Cooperating?
That's why I'm so into studying natural science. That coexistence. I want to know how it works. If we could figure that out, mankind could put it to use for our own survival. That's why I want to be a teacher, so that I can pass that knowledge on to the children. I mean, even if we can't completely eliminate war, at least we might learn to live together as one people.
You think so? Welks, look. Martha fell asleep, so that makes me the babysitter. See, Alicia? Oh, he's adorable.
Just like you said, even in war, new life happens all around us. Come here. Look, that's your hometown.
On fire.
Someday, we'll come back home again.
Yes. Someday soon. I know it.
Chapter 3: Vassal Urban Warfare.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and go through this just because, well, a lot of this is introducing to the base mechanics that we're going to need to use, or more precisely that we're not going to use.
In March of 1935, the Empire began its invasion across Gallia's eastern border. Maximilian, commander of the Gallian invasion front, built his army around mobile armor. Ghirlandaio and the other fortresses along the border fell to his tanks in quick succession. Bruhl's fall in under 2 hours was typical of villages in the Empire's path, and the road to the capital bore a steady flow of refugees. Randgries, Gallia's capital, a town secure and stable since ancient times. Within its walls stood the castle Randgries, and within its unicorn spire resided Cordelia, Gallia's princess. Supporting Gallia's policy of neutrality was a system of universal conscription. Under it, all schools required military training each year. In the event of a war, citizens were then drafted into the militia to defend their country. As the conflict with the East grew worse, both Welkin and Alicia found themselves no exceptions to that fate.
Now remember this name on the bottom, Irene Kohler? That name will happen again, or will pop up again.
So these are my new digs. Oh, my uniform. I should get changed before reporting in. Better get ready now. Flares, binoculars, a compass, and a map. Everything you need for a nice hike. Or combat.
Welkin? Can I come in?
Sure, it's open.
Oh, you're already changed too. Let's see. Not bad, not bad. You look good, actually. So, how about me? Do I look all right in this? Convincing?
Who are you trying to convince? It's a standard military uniform.
Let's take a look. Yeah, you look fine. You wear it like a pro.
Really? You're not just saying that?
Of course not. You look tough. I like it.
Oh, good. I was worried it looked kind of silly.
No way. That plating on the back, it's like a coleopterate exoskeleton. Beetle-tastic.
Colio what? And did you just say beetle? Welkin? What kind of girl wants to hear that she looks like a bug?
Huh? Not just any bug. A rhinoceros beetle, king of the insects. Who wouldn't want that?
Apparently Alicia.
Uh-huh. I guess I'll just try to take that as a very Welkin sort of compliment.
Tell me about that scarf. You've been wearing it since I met you.
Oh, this? It's part of my uniform from the bakery.
Is that right?
Smooth. Real smooth, Welkin.
I don't want to forget the time I spent busting my buns baking. I plan to keep wearing it until I can get back to manning the ovens again.
So many things to say. So many of them inappropriate.
That's great. Once you do, I'll be first in line to get some of that bread.
Again, the innuendos. So many innuendos with just this short conversation.
Is that a promise? Well, I'll be sure to have plenty of it ready and waiting for you.
Especially if you get to the end of the game. The innuendos really get laid on thick in this part.
Absolutely. Hey, if you're ready, we should probably go see the captain now.
Come in.
Excuse me, ma'am. Galleon Militia Enlistee Welkin Gunther, reporting for duty.
Ma'am, Galleon Militia Enlistee Alicia Melchiot, also reporting for duty.
I'm Captain Eleanor Varrot, commander of this regiment. Gunther, you're promoted to lieutenant. You'll be leader of Squad 7 now.
Because you're on a tank.
Enlistee Melchiot, you're promoted to sergeant. You'll be under the lieutenant's command. Understood?
Ma'am.
What do you know? It is you. Nice coincidence, huh, Welkin?
Valdio? I had no idea that you'd enlisted.
Yep. Now that there's a real war going on, I joined up. Pretty much all the officer and training boys are here just like you.
You know each other.
Yes, ma'am. We knew each other at university. Welcome was in science and I was in archaeology. And just look at us now. No archaeology or science. Looks like the two of us are studying war, I guess.
Looks that way. It's good to see you.
And you.
That'll be all for now. There's a strategy briefing later today, but you still have time. Time for you to catch up. You'll be spending a lot of time on the post and in Randbreeze. They'll be your new home, so get to know them. That'll be all. Report back in time for the briefing. Until then, you're dismissed.
Alright, welcome to the command room. This is kind of important, and it will all be explained in a few seconds why.
It's good to see you doing the rounds. Welcome. This is the command room. Use it to structure your squad. You will have access to both drafted and volunteer recruits. Now that I think of it, Squad 7 is still short on soldiers, isn't it? I'll explain how this works.
Short on soldiers, as in we have none.
This is the master list. The recruits have all been assigned classes based on their talents. I should probably touch on the 5 classes, just so we're clear. First off, you have the scouts. Just like the name suggests, they'll be your eyes.
Otherwise known as the GI, or the best unit in the game. In fact, they're better than everyone else. The only thing they can't do, normally, is kill tanks. With the right gear and upgrades, yeah, they can even kill tanks. So technically, yeah, they're just the best. There's no one better. Nobody in the game better.
Their best asset is their mobility. They can go out, collect intel, then make it back safely. That, and a keen eye for enemies. A good scout can spot a man in tall grass from 100 yards. That comes at the price of firepower. Their job is spotting enemies, not taking them out.
That's wrong. They're actually very good and have some of the best firepower in the game. Especially with the DLC, which adds even better guns for them.
Next up, the shock trooper. They're the ones to break through enemy lines and clean up.
Otherwise known as the most useless class that does almost nothing. They have short range, rapid fire, and really there's only a few missions where they're relevant.
They offer excellent offense and defense. As far as combat goes, they're as good as it gets.
No, they're actually terrible.
While they lack any specialized techniques, they also don't have any obvious shortcomings.
Except extremely short movement range, and honestly, the only good thing they have is the flamethrower, and that's pretty much it. Everything else is pretty generic.
Think of them as the least finicky unit in your squad, Lieutenant.
No, actually, they're very finicky.
After them, we have Lancers, then anti-tank units. They're critical when facing armored targets.
I never noticed that she said then twice.
Their purpose is pretty self-explanatory. In most cases, they're the only way to stop a tank.
Until you get properly upgraded scouts, and then they just slaughter tanks, infantry, and everything.
They're also well shielded from explosives, which conveniently includes tank mortars.
And landmines, at least this version is.
Sadly, they're slow and weak to gunfire. Their limited ammo could also be called a drawback.
Actually, they're not really weak to gunfire. They're pretty weak to machine guns, but against the standard scout rifles that the Imperials use, they're nearly indestructible. They're pretty tough.
Changing gears, we have the engineers. They handle supplies and perform combat support.
Second best unit in the game, second best mobility and versatility. They are the least finicky unit in the game. They can pretty much do it all. They have the same rifles as scouts, more grenades than anybody else. They can heal, they can repair tanks, they can restore your destroyed bunkers if you use grenades to blow them up to kill infantry. They're pretty much the best all-around unit. I mean, when it comes to engineers, you're going to want to use them. Even though most of the time you really won't, because scouts are just better than them. But as far as support, if you don't have a scout available, an engineer is pretty much your next go-to unit.
They can restock other units' ammunitions, treat the wounded, even repair tanks on site. They can place sandbags for cover, disarm mines, repair towers, you name it. Their actual combat skills are very low. Think of them as combat facilitators.
No, their combat skills are just as good as scouts. Their health is fairly low, but when it comes down to it, with the right gear, you're going to be killing everything before the engineer even has to worry about taking pot shots from an enemy.
Lastly, we have the snipers. They can shoot down targets from a considerable distance.
And have the least mobility, which is why they need that long range. Most of the time it's just better to send them back to base and relocate them than it is to actually try and move them to a location. Because it will take way, way too long. They're just that short-ranged.
You won't find better soldiers for marksmanship and range. They can hit targets I can barely see. Sniping rifles also come with scopes that work to augment a sniper's natural eyesight. Drawbacks include low mobility and defense. If the enemy gets them alone, they're done for.
If the enemy gets a sniper alone, you done foobarred. There is no reason a sniper should ever be anywhere near where an enemy can be.
That should cover the basics. Go ahead and put a squad together now. There's room for 20, and you can swap units at any time.
What that means is you basically just pick a few, and as you can see, you've got 3 basic ones here. I just gestured to the screen, and no one can see that, but Alicia is a scout, Rosie's a shock trooper, and Largo is a anti-tank lancer. Now, the thing is, these 3 can never be removed from the squad and are also the most important slots because each one gives a command point. That's good, but it's also terrible because if you want to win the game, you're going to need as many command points, which means almost every time you deploy, there are 3 slots that are basically just straight up wasted. Not that you'll ever need more than maybe Alicia and occasionally a couple of others to basically do the work. So I'm just going to pick my general favorites that I always pick whenever I play this game. Ooh, Wavy.
Please, call me Wavy. From today onward, we fight together.
Wavy's a Darskin. He's also a pretty good scout. Not the greatest, but definitely not the worst.
I'm Nancy DeFore. It's so good to meet you.
Susie is a pacifist. I hate her because she literally has a skill that makes it impossible for her to shoot. She'll just straight up end her turn.
My name is Susie Evans, sir. I realize I'm inexperienced, but I'll do all I can.
I hate you so much. And then there's Fresia. I just pick her for the reason.
I'm Fresia York Handsome. I know you'll take real good care of me.
I will probably never use you.
Hey there. I'm Ika Thompson. I'll try my best. Sound good, Welkin?
Now we're into the shock troopers.
The name's Vice Engelbard. Let's go kick this war in the teeth.
Ah, yes, Edie.
I'm Edie Nelson. Perhaps you've heard of me. I'm sure we'll get along swimmingly.
No. No, we won't. Ah, yes, the deadliest 12-year-old in the world.
Hi, I'm Aisha Newman. Nice to meet you, Mr. Welkin.
Also, she's huge for a 12-year-old. Let's see. Let's go with Jane.
The name's Jane Turner. I'll do anything if it means putting holes in imps.
Ah, yes, Jan.
Hey, soldier! I'm Jan Walker. I'll fight with everything I've got.
Again, one of the best lancers in the game. Another good choice.
Hi, my name's Elise Moore. Nice to meet you.
I picked Dallas just for the sake of argument.
My name is Dallas Wyatt. I'm excited to be joining up.
She's one of... Let's see... Ah, Nadine.
Hello, sir. My name is Nadine. I'm sure I'll be coming to you for help.
One of the best characters in the game. And best sniper.
Marina Wolfstan, at your command.
Alright, so I still got 3 slots, so let's go with...
Hello, I'm Claudia Mann. I'll do my best to live up to your expectations.
Cersei, and not really useful. Let's see, who else can I pick? Let's go with Cherry.
I'm Cherry Steinen, like with a J. It's silent, but, I'm not.
Not my favorite, but she'll do.
Hi, I'm Alex Raymond. I look forward to serving with you, Welkin.
One of the few people that actually uses Welkin's name. Alright, that is all of it.
Well, feel like you've struck a balance? Come back anytime you'd like to adjust your squad. As time passes, we'll have more recruits to choose from, so keep an eye on that list. Oh, and all the recruits go through training together, so they're all ready for combat. They'll be at the same level as the rest of the team you've taken into the field. You can swap out members without the worry of losing the benefit of their experience. Trust in your own judgment and pick a team you know you can work well with. That should be enough to get you started. You can figure out the rest as you go.
Wow. Squad leader's a lot of responsibility. Come to think of it, Faldio's heading up Squad 1, isn't he? I wonder if he's off sorting through this stuff now, too. I'd better get a move on.
The training field.
Welcome to your worst nightmare. I'm the guy who's gonna whip you lazy blobs into shape. Still, I can't work miracles here. No amount of drilling beats real combat experience. I want you all to go out there, kick some imp tail, and then show me what you learned. I will train that experience into something you can actually use. Level you bums up. But don't go trying to hog all the glory. A squad's a team, and we got no need for stars. You will train as a class and level up by class. Scout level 2, Scout level 3. You get it? When the scouts level up, that means each and every one of them goes up that level. You hear me, maggots? Any of you think he's better than the rest of the team, go home now! All right. Now I'll show you lowlives how this whole thing actually works. It ain't complicated. First you go out there and fight, then divvy up that experience here. Once the experience you cram into a soldier class clears a set amount, it'll level up. Picking which class to level up and when is your job as the squad leader. Now give it a go. Train all you want. I've got all day.
Now, since we've only used scouts up to this point, I'm making a self-restriction that I can only level up the classes that I actually use during the battle. This is going to put some classes at a much lower level when they really, really should be at a higher level.
I got no use for tears! Sweat! 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 Good work, maggots! You're one level closer to human! I got no use for tears! Sweat! 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 Good work, maggots! You're one level closer to human!
We're probably going to wind up starting to skip that here in a little bit.
You're better than this! Push those limits! Good work, maggot! Looks like that session beat a new potential out of the scouts! Got it? That's how training by class works. Now get out there and rack up some experience. Oh, and there's one more thing to add. Sometimes leveling up a unit class will unlock a hidden potential in them. You can think of potentials as the natural abilities your soldiers have inside them. Those abilities will form a big part of your strength in the field, so keep them in mind. Other times, leveling up a class will earn you clearance for a new order. Here, as long as we're talking about it, I'll teach you a classic, a real golden oldie. Orders are special commands you can give out as the squad leader. They can save your tail. It doesn't take a genius to see that leveling up your soldiers is the best way to beef up your squad. The soldiers will get stronger, and you just might unlock new potentials and orders. All that just from me working you sorry bums into the dirt. I just hope you maggots are ready for a real workout the next time I see you here.
On to the R&D facility.
Welcome to R&D, man. What can I do you for? Wait, I know that insignia. You're Lieutenant Gunther, aren't you? I knew it! Man, I've heard about you. That evacuation at Brule was just... wow! Protecting a tiny life in the middle of all that slaughter? Man! Oh, Lieutenant, you're good people. You get all my respect and then some, bro.
What's going on, Leon? I could hear you from clear across the hangar.
Oh, Casey, check it out! It's Lieutenant Gunther! He's the man!
Sorry about him, Lieutenant. He's like this all the time, I'm afraid. But where are my manners? I'm Kreese Cherney. I'm training here as a mechanic.
Oh, and I'm Leon Schmidt. But just call me Leon, bro. I'm your boy.
So, Lieutenant Gunther, what brings you down to R&D today? We do work here on weapons development, making upgraded weapons and equipment.
And that includes rifles and machine guns. We can even soup up your tank. Of course, research expenses aren't cheap.
With rifles and other firearms, we'll mass-produce new models as they're developed. You won't have to worry about making enough for your squad. We'll outfit them.
For tanks, you can upgrade the baseline performance of the body itself, or develop optional parts that you can add on to tweak out its specs.
Right. You can choose which optional parts you want in the tank equipment section. Come in anytime and make adjustments based on the needs of the operation at hand.
This is still technically all tutorial stuff. This is just the base tutorial. Alright, now I could realistically upgrade all this stuff and have a better chance for the next battle, but I'm not going to. The only thing I'm upgrading is the uniforms.
All set for you, bro.
I'll also be upgrading the grenade when the grenade upgrades become available.
All set for you, bro. It's done.
And doing basic enhancements for the Edelweiss.
Here you go, bro. All done. All set for you, bro. It's done.
Well, sir, was that helpful? We're working here around the clock to make possible tomorrow what's out of reach today.
Sounds like the beginning to a Vault-Tec speech.
Come again a little later. We'll do our best to have something useful for you by then.
Yeah, you better come back soon, bro. I am all fired up to work on stuff for you.
Alright, to the squad barracks. Now the reason I came here is because of this. This is the rifle we captured in the earlier mission. It is a extremely bad rifle from the Empire, but you'll notice something. Damage versus person, 17. Damage versus person, 36. It's over double the damage rating on the previous gun. The only difference is most Imperial weapons actually have terrible aim and extremely bad range. Because this has 350, which is like 350 meters or yards, some equivalency. Whereas this has 180. Practically half. Just a little over half the range of the equivalent weapon that Gallia is using Now, I do have another weapon, and that's Room. Now, I got this from completing the special mission, which allows you to play the Imperial side of things. Technically, it's the Imperial Prologue, and A-ranking all of those missions. This is actually probably the best machine gun in the game, except for one of those, which is from the DLC. And basically makes your shock troopers way, way, way better. Now, I'm going to give this to Bridget here, or Rosie as she's called, because it's about the only way to make her useful, and since she's going to be on every team, I really don't have a choice in the matter. Now, one of the things I'm going to be doing from now on is, as of now, I am not allowed to upgrade any weapon that can either be captured or will be received as a reward later on in the game. So everything that I get has to be either captured from the enemy, or it has to be given to me as a reward for getting an A rank in later missions. This is kind of a personal restriction, or what I like to call the Budget Gallia edition. Since technically, what's going to happen is I'm going to be using the concept that one of the characters we meet later on is basically restricting the militia from having access to the latest and most efficient Gallian weapons. So they're essentially scrounging across the battlefield to pick up weapons and gear in order to keep themselves in the war effort.
Welks! There you are. I've been looking for you.
Hey, Ys. How'd your enlistment go? No problems?
I registered as a tank pilot and mechanic. Maintaining and operating the Edelweiss will be my responsibility from now on.
I think it's nice that we'll all be on the same squad together.
Yeah, it would be really weird to separate, the person who owns the tank from their tank. Although it wouldn't be all that surprising considering how good the Edelweiss is for the Gallian military to just straight up steal it.
I think so too.
So what are you up to now?
The tank's hangar space is just through here. I was just carrying some Ragnite fuel back. It's used to power the tank, and also for the turret-mounted cannon rounds.
I guess I'm just more used to seeing it in street lamps and medical compounds.
And the fuel for every vehicle in the world. I mean, it's not a change. They use this everywhere.
Seems like everything is Ragnite powered these days. That stuff is everywhere.
Not enough of it for some people, though. It's the source of a lot of conflict.
They say the Empire's invading only to get at all the Ragnite in Gallian soil.
We find out that's not actually true. Technically it is. That's the justification that Maximilian used to get the Empire to support the war, but that's not the reason he's specifically invading. But we won't find that out till later.
Oh, that's right. I had something to give you, Welks.
What's this?
Father's flare gun. It was in the barn, but I thought you might have some use for it.
Another hand-me-down.
I gave it a once-over. It might be old, but it's still serviceable.
I didn't mean... I just can't believe I'm a tank operator now. Thank you for this, Ys.
I'll do a spot check on the Edelweiss now, to make sure it's ready to go at any time.
All right, we'll get going for now then. See you later.
Alright, and that's